So we have been living in our RV full time for 10 days now. And it seems like a lot longer.
About 3 months. But yeah, there's definitely been unexpected things that have come up, little things that, I mean, there's been the things that we kind of anticipated, but then there's been completely surprising occurrences.
So we can share some of the things that have helped a lot that we were prepared for, and other things that we weren't prepared for that we've had to learn trial by fire, kind of.
Yeah. Now, one thing that we have done, which I'm very happy that we've done, is that we still have a house.
Yes.
So we rent a house, but we did not end our lease. We did not completely move out. We still have a house whenever we need to go back to it. This is just an experiment. And
yes.
If we hadn't done that, the stress levels would have been about
it'd be so
a million times higher.
We could just drop it tomorrow and just go back if we want. If we're like, this is not working out, not what we thought it would be, we're just going back.
Yeah, and that's one thing. Like when I was talking to my boss about working remotely, like his one concern was internet speed, and that's like what I told him from the beginning. I was like, yep, if we can't make the internet work, we're done. We're gonna go home. And so far, we've been able to make it work. It turns out, like, we had an AT&T plan that was like supposed to be unlimited, and that's been a little spottier than we anticipated. So we had to get like another SIM card for our router with T-Mobile, and that's working great now. So it's like we can go back and forth depending on where we are.
Right, and it depends on where we are, and I don't know, just we might get deprioritized in the afternoon or something.
Our kids stream a lot of YouTube videos. So many gigabytes. So
we have screen-free time for the kids if we have an important meeting or the internet's slow or something. So learning more about the internet, learning more about where coverage is and isn't. You can't really rely on the maps. We've basically learned that we have to try it out in a place. And if it's not good, we have to be ready to leave that place immediately and find a better place, because that's our priority. So that's one thing we've learned, is that the internet is going to be a little more complicated than we thought, even with all the research and preparation I did or whatever. There's always more.
So like the Native American tribes, like the nomads, they would go across the prairies. But they didn't just go like wherever they wanted, right? I mean, they were following the herds of buffalo.
Yeah. And so we're following the bars.
Yeah, we're following the great Wi-Fi in the sky. So
that's right.
Why don't you talk about what we're actually doing and where are we driving? Like what's going on? What's our plan?
Right. So that first long. Did I talk about the long day of driving?
No.
No.
Yeah, so our first day.
So
driving.
we came from Atlanta. Okay. And we made a stop in Huntsville because that's where my parents are, and we took a day to do some renovating. There were some things that we knew we wanted to do before we hit the road. And then the next day, we traveled all day long to Texas. And it was about 12 hours of driving.
Yep. So we drove through Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, and then part of Texas.
Yep. And that was quite the journey.
And we were caravanning too. So like one of us was driving the RV and the other one was driving our minivan.
Yeah.
But the cool thing is that we could switch back and forth when one of us got tired.
Yeah, I mean we were both still driving, but yeah, the most tiring thing to drive is the RV.
Didn't we take a break in the middle? We took a break in the middle of the day at a rest stop. Remember?
Yeah, we took
for like an hour.
Yep.
And she actually took a nap.
I took a nap in our bed. We could actually pull over. I took a nap in the middle of the day. I got some coffee in our own kitchen and just sat and reflected for a while. And then we could hit the road again. It was the best rest stop ever.
Yeah, like a literal rest stop.
Yep.
Whoa. So we were driving. We were trying to go to like Livingston, Texas.
That was our plan.
And we made it like an hour away, but it was like it was been dark and it was just like we were both getting tired. So we spent our first night in a Walmart parking lot. Which was great. Like you just show up, you just find some empty spot.
Yep.
And
we did it. That was our first night in our RV. Was a Walmart parking lot. It was like we just initiated it right away. And it was a little cramped with the slides in.
Yeah, it was a little cramped, and it was cold too, right? I mean, this is the other thing too. Like we
yeah.
It turns out Texas is actually not tropical. So we were kind of, I mean,
We were in the north.
Yeah,
We're in
it's very
North
big.
Texas.
It's very big, and
Yeah.
we need to go farther south.
So we went
We had
into
to buy
Walmart
heaters.
and got a couple more space heaters.
Yeah.
And the reason we were heading to Livingston is because that's where I learned a lot of different full-time RVers can get residency in Texas and mail forwarding service for being full-time RVers.
Right.
And we were planning on doing that and registering our RV and everything. And so we showed up and changed our plans.
Yeah. It turned out it was not going to be as easy as we thought. Like the Texas driver licenses are like 3 months behind. You have to like schedule an appointment 3 months in advance.
Mm-hmm.
So there's all these little crazy things that we're like, okay, you know what? We don't even need to be residents of Texas right now. We're doing just fine.
Yep.
We're just we'll register the vehicles late whenever whatever. Just
Whenever or wherever. I mean, we could register
yeah,
them
like,
in Georgia.
I mean,
Like,
so
why not?
that going
You know?
back to like our original plan, like we're not just following the cellular data. We're or the warm weather.
Or the warm weather.
We're also thinking of possibly moving to Texas, and so we wanted to use like this month of RV experimenting as a way of kind of checking out different places in Texas.
Right.
Neither Martha or I really are familiar with Texas. So like right now we're in Dallas. Then next week we're going to spend in Austin.
Mm-hmm.
Then we might spend some time farther south. So yeah, so that's kind of the plan. But like right now it's still all up in the air in
Right.
terms of where we'll end up moving after Atlanta. And we might even stay in Atlanta for a while. So.
But we knew after that first night we had to get out of Livingston, get out of that whole area.
Oh, yeah.
Why? You don't remember? The internet.
Oh right, yeah, we had
It was
bad
terrible.
bad reception.
It was 0 to 1 bar.
Well,
Like,
I mean, just
no.
at that one spot. I mean, like we stayed at this RV park, which we also found RV parks. At least the one we stayed at are not the. I mean, they people were
Most of
mostly
them,
friendly.
you
I mean,
know,
it's okay.
They're friendly.
But they're
yeah.
super cramped. You can't have like campfires. The kids can't really run around. Anyways.
It's basically moving into a retirement
yeah, like a nursing
village.
home. It's like moving
Yeah.
into a nursing home.
Well, not a
like
nursing
there's guys
home
with like
because
walkers
they're
going across
totally...
the street.
Really? With walkers?
Yeah.
I didn't see that.
I mean, not.
Anyway,
I saw it.
but the kids, 4 small children in a retirement community is what it was like. So we need
And
more room
it
to
had bad
roam.
reception. So it's like we stayed there like that night, but then we had to work in the morning. So we drove to a place that had better reception.
A truck stop.
Yeah, we just drove to a truck stop, and I had my morning meetings there. We worked there for a while.
So the campsite we stayed at does not have good internet. And Nat had an important meeting this morning. So we stored everything. We drove to a truck stop. And now I'm having fun with the kids out in the parking lot. What? Are you guys having fun?
Yeah!
Yeah? Are you having fun, Eleanor? Woohoo! And Nat's over there having his meeting. Even just that mentality that if we don't have good internet, we're not stuck. We can go somewhere. Or, if you're in a house, you're stuck and you have to bring resources to you somehow.
Right.
But in this situation, if we don't have what we need where we are, we can go somewhere else. So that's what we ended up doing.
Yep.
We're like, well, we know that there's good reception at this truck stop, so that's where we're going this morning. And then we're going to find another place that has what we need.
Yep. So yeah, that's been a really cool part of it. It's just the flexibility. There's been a few like kind of crazy things that happened. Like one night we were actually visiting. My parents had an RV. They were down from North Dakota, and they were visiting up in Tyler, Texas, where we were staying, and we got locked out of the RV, and it was like the middle of the night. Or not the middle of the night, but it was getting dark.
It was
It was
getting
getting
dark.
cold. Everyone was outside. All our phones and everything were inside the RV, and we only had one pair of keys inside the RV.
We were just standing. I just remember standing at the door, like, our cozy home is right there, and there's no way to get into it.
So I was like
So
this close
bad.
to like breaking a window, which would have been really sad. But it turned out that my parents are staying in a Winnebago, and we have a Winnebago. So my mom went and got her set of keys, and one of the keys actually fit the lock that one of the kids had accidentally pushed down, and we were able to open the door. So that was really cool. And then the same day, or
the next day, I went out and I got our keys copied. 2 copies.
2 copies. So that's the thing, we're learning.
Not gonna happen again.
We're learning. Like a lot of these things that are happening, it's just like,
yeah.
We're staying flexible. We're we came into this knowing that no matter how much research we did, we would never be able to get enough information.
Right.
So we knew that. Like, we knew that the only way to gather information was to actually do it, which is what we're doing.
Yeah, and I guess our plan is to, after traveling around Texas a little bit, actually, what I have in mind is just kind of keeping track of what would help us live this life more. So there's certain things that we left at home that would have been good to have along. There's certain things in the RV that might need a little tweaking or remodeling. I mean, I'm just kind of keeping mental notes of, okay, this is like our trial run, and then if we want to do it more, these are the things that would help make it easier. So that's another reason why it's so good that we're doing a trial run instead of just being all in right off the bat, is that we can do that. We can go back, regroup, and then do it for real. We are doing it for real.
Yeah, we're doing it for real. But it's one of those things, like I said, like we might end up being in a house for a while, or we don't really know what. And we're planning on keeping the RV. So it's like probably the ideal would be like to own a house and be able to stay there for as much as we want, but then be able to go off on the road when we feel like it, or when it's cold or whatever, and be able to work though too. Like not this isn't vacation. Like, we're not taking vacation right now.
No.
Like, that's the weird thing.
We are living.
This is like we're working.
We're working. We're living. I'm cooking and taking care of the kids. We're doing everything that we did in our house. Everything.
And in a certain sense, it's easier though, especially like with the warmer weather. Because like we're able to like use our outside space more. Like right now we're at a state park and we've got all this space, big yard.
Right.
It's like, in that sense, it's way better than our house.
Yes.
Like, we've been stuck in our house for a year, lockdown.
And
it's been terrible.
It's so much colder there right now than it is here. I mean, I think they're expecting snow on Friday.
Oh no! Yeah, Atlanta. It's supposed to be the south.
I mean, I know we tried to move. We're from North Dakota, and we tried moving south, but we didn't go far south enough.
No. Basically, it's either Florida or like.
Florida or South Texas
Texas
is basically the only way to escape the cold. But. So we're in a state park right now, and state parks are great, but that's another thing we learned is that they are booked up over the weekends. So we happened to find this place south of Texas that happened to have a weekend open. So we've actually been here since Friday. We were here over the weekend, and we are leaving again this Friday. But from now on, we're basically planning on we're gonna have to boondock every Friday and Saturday night.
Which isn't terrible, because we're planning on traveling on the weekend anyways.
Right.
Because that's when we're not working. So yeah, I mean I think it'll be okay.
I think so.
But yeah, so the next stop is or the next big stop will be down by Austin, Texas.
By Austin, yeah.
So we'll see how it goes.
Looking forward to it.
So far. We're doing good. We're spending a lot of money, but we're trying to stay within our budget. We'll see how we do.
I mean, it's unexpected expenses. Oh my goodness! But just budget for it. Budget for the unexpected. Then it won't break the bank. Just wow.
So
exciting.
So far, so good.